All right, 1984 300 turbo diesel wagon, 4-speed manual conversion. Got the 4-speed out of a Euro wagon, Euro spec, all manual controls with a manual transmission, non-turbo. 1984. Running a 2-tank vegetable oil conversion, 230,000 on the odometer. Controls are right here: diesel, grease, purge, and then this is the purge button. It's a 3-valve, fully heated system. Hose and hose running from the back. I'll show you under the hood. So hose and hose running from the back. There you go. So heated hose running from the back. Everything's heated. Heated filter, heat exchanger, all heated lines. First valve you have here is the selector between diesel and veggie oil. The first valve. The second valve is going to be the selector for the return. And then the third valve is also going to be the purge and the loop. This also has to do with purge. So you have the fuel coming from the back, coming out of the heated line. T's out right here. This is the veg oil coming out. Runs into the top of the filter, runs through the filter, back out, and then right here, down into the heat exchanger. And then you can see it comes out of the heat exchanger right here, into the valve, and then down to the lift pump. And then this is the looped off the lift pump, and then right looped off the lift pump into the injector pump. This is a return line, and then this is the returns for the injectors. I had to put the stock diesel filter up a little higher so I could fit the veggie oil filter in there. I just wanted all the lines as short as possible to get it to work. This is the loop for the heater core for the car. I have it so I can shut it off, so in the summertime more heat goes. And then also I have shut-offs for the vegetable oil, the heat for everything. In case I have a problem with my tank or any lines running back and forth, I can shut those off, and it just isolates it so the car can still run normally. All the valves default to diesel. Once if it loses power, there's a problem, the car runs on diesel. I have a 10-12 gallon tank for diesel, and it runs on that. So this rag on top, just my cap leaks a little bit for some reason. I've tried a couple different ones, they still leak, so just put that on. Things I've done: no injector work done. Got rid of the EGR, straight piped the exhaust, and then also put on a kind of homemade filter. It's quite a bit noisier with the homemade filter. The exhaust sounds great, but as far as drivability, it still sounds great. Just turn the stereo up a little bit. So the reason I still have a few clear lines is just to check when I was setting the purge for how long I needed the purge valve to stay open. It was nice to see, and also if there was any air. So kind of how this works is when I'm running on diesel, the car starts and stops on diesel. When I'm running on diesel, it's pulling from the back, from the stock tank, from the tank in the back, runs through the filter, runs through everything, down into the lift pump, down into the injector pump, comes out. The return is right here, back to the diesel tank. Switches to veggie oil. It starts pulling from the veggie oil side. This is going down into the injector pump. The return now is coming to here. Instead of teeing back to the diesel tank, the return is now going to feed through the engine, and then it's going to go back through here. So it's going to come through T, it's going to run through this filter, or through this valve, it's going to turn, and then it's going to go down into the top of the filter, and then through the heat exchanger. And so the reason this is set up like this, to run just straight back through the top of the filter and back into the heat exchanger, is just so it keeps all the heat under the hood. It's going to help with, once it starts, just keep everything hot, and it also keeps the oil in the tank from polymerizing. If it sits in there too long, it's heated up and cooled off too many times, the oil can get kind of funny. So once I hit the purge button, it'll start pulling from the diesel filter. Veggie oil side shuts off. It starts running on diesel. This valve will stay the same, so it won't be returning to the diesel tank. Then the loop will still keep going, but what will happen, instead of it returning to the veggie filter, to the top of the filter, this side of the valve is going to open, and it's going to return to the veggie tank. So the veggie oil is going to be flushed out of the system, sent back to the tank. And I have the purge set, so roughly when it the diesel is back to here, all these lines will be clear. With veg oil, it'll shut off, and then it's just run on diesel. Then you can shut the car off. It's working great. Everything's super hot. It's running good, and then I'll show you the tanks in the back. A few things I've done. I had to do a little body work, and all I had was black. So painted the wheels black. The self-leveling suspension sitting nice and high. So you can see this is the Veggie tank down here underneath. It's an aluminum tank I found and kind of cut up and had it welded. It's roughly, no, not roughly, it is 30 gallons. It's a big tank. Some people might think it might sit a little low. We welded up this cage for it here. It doesn't sit too low. I also put a hitch on it for a bike rack. It doesn't sit too low. I've drug a few times, but if you have the self-leveling suspension, I have it unhooked so I can adjust the height where I want it, and it's sitting really good. So, like I said, to the turbo wagon. So here in the back, the Veggie tank, if I want to access the top of it, it's just right here underneath. I just cut the floor out to get it to sit a little higher. So anybody that are 300 turbo enthusiasts, don't comment on me cutting out the floor. It's an old car. I wanted to do it to get it to sit higher. So you can see this is the Frybrid heat exchanger here. And so how this works is the coolant comes in, and then it goes down into a coil that loops around and then comes back out right here. And this is where the coolant line, the Veggie line inside runs out, and this is where it's pulling, and then this is where it's returning right here like this, just back in. So this is the diesel tank I have here. It's I don't know, I think 10 gallons or so. I got it from a lady in Craigslist in Portland. It's working really good. Just bolted it in the side, and there's a bolt up in the front. Super sturdy tank. Has a hatch on top. I think this was going to be used for their veg oil. They decided not to do it. So I got the tank. I'm running diesel in it since I pulled the stock tank out. Got the ever important box on top. And I'll show you the exhaust. So the fill for the Veggie oil is just right here in the side in the stock location. Just right there. So got the exhaust right here, you can see. Hangs a little bit lower than I'd like, but it's not too bad. So just turbo back, nothing but a pipe. As far as the inside goes, it's in really good shape. Dash is looking really good. Got the ever important sheepskin seat covers. And anytime I see other 300D drivers, I always wave, and they seem to never wave back. Somebody can comment on that, tell me why that is. Other than that, let me start it up so you can hear it running. There's a huge sound difference when it is on Veggie oil versus when it's on diesel. I'll start it up so you can kind of hear the sound. So the block heater is plugged in. It's been plugged in all night. You can see, starts right up, sounds super good. Yeah, it's working great. So, starts right up. Still having a little bit of air problems for some reason on the diesel side. When it switches to Veggie oil, there's no problems with air. On the diesel side, there's some problems with air for some reason. Trying to figure out where that's coming from. Other than that, runs great. The 3 valves, purging on diesel. I'm not doing any biodiesel at all, just Veggie oil and diesel. Yeah, that's the car. So I'll do another video when it switches over to Veggie oil so you can hear that too. But this is it right now. So you can also see right now I have the system turned off, but let me turn it back on here. So now that the system's on, now it's a red light. So once it gets up to temperature, it'll switch to grease, and then I can show you that. So yeah, 4-speed manual. I'll do a little video of it driving. That's it. That's the car. So yeah, Veggie wagon. That's it.